Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Congregational Church of Littleton's Facebook page. No matter who you are or where you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. So, we are at our Wondering Wednesday, and we're continuing the reading of the Jesus Storybook Bible by Sally Lloyd-Jones. This evening's reading is A Little Girl and a Poor Frail Lady, the story of Jairus' daughter from Luke 8. There was once a little girl who didn't get out of bed one morning, or the next. In fact, she didn't get out of bed for a whole month. She was very sick, and no one knew how to make her better. Jairus was her daddy, and he loved her. One day he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand, wishing there was something he could. "I know," he said. He jumped up to his feet, put on his coat, kissed his daughter, ran down the steps past the servants, out of the house, through the gates, along the road, into the town, up the steps and into the temple. He fought his way through all the people until at last he found who he was looking for. I wonder who he was looking for. "Jesus," he said, falling at Jesus' feet. "My daughter," he pleaded, "please." But he didn't need to beg, because before he'd even finished speaking, Jesus reached out his hand and helped him up. "I'll come at once," Jesus said. Jairus' eyes filled with tears. Jesus was coming. It would be all right. In those days, of course, they didn't have ambulance, so they had to go by foot. Jesus' helpers knew that he would heal the sick girl, but they must hurry. If Jesus didn't get there soon, it would be too late. But everyone was in the way. Hustling and bustling, jostling and pressing, pushing and shoving, squishing and squashing. The disciples ran ahead, forcing back the crowd. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. His friends looked back. What was he doing? "Who touched me?" Jesus asked, because he felt power go out of him. "Me," said a frail lady, looking down at the ground because she was ashamed. The poor lady had been sick for 12 years, and she had to get well. She knew if she only touched Jesus' coat, she would be healed. So she touched his coat, and instantly she was well. "We don't have time," Jesus' friends said. But Jesus always had time. He reached out his hands and gently lifted her head. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "You believed," he said, wiping the tears from her eyes, "and now you are well." Just then, Jairus' servants rushed up to him. "Jairus, it's too late," he said breathlessly. "Your daughter is dead." Jesus turned to Jairus. "It's not too late," Jesus said. "Trust me." At Jairus' house, everyone was crying. But Jesus said, "I'm going to wake her up." Everyone laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus walked into the little girl's bedroom, and there, lying in the corner in the shadows, was the still little figure. Jesus sat on the bed and took her pale hand. "Honey," he said, "it's time to get up." And he reached down into the depth and gently brought this little girl back to life. The little girl woke up, rubbed her eyes as if she had just a good night's sleep, and leapt out of bed. Jesus threw open the shutters, and sunlight flooded the dark room. "Hungry?" Jesus asked. She nodded. Jesus called to her family, "Bring the little girl some breakfast." Jesus helped heal many people like this. He made blind people see, he made deaf people hear, and he made lame people walk. Jesus was making the sad things come untrue. He was mending God's broken world. And that is the end of our story. Wow. Whew. Let's go back to the beginning of our story for a minute here. Jairus is in his house. His daughter won't get out of bed. It's been months and she's not feeling well. And what could he do about it, right? Then he jumps up and he thinks of Jesus. But before he went to see Jesus, when he went to see him, how do you think Jairus was feeling? Sitting by his daughter's bed, not knowing what to do for her. How was Jesus feeling as he was running to go see Jesus? What do you think was going through his mind? Well, he gets to Jesus and asks Jesus for help. And of course, Jesus says yes. But along the way, they have been stopped, right? People are in the way. A woman stops to be healed. So a couple of things there I'm wondering about. One was, how is Jairus feeling in this moment when it's taking them so long to get to his daughter? Everybody is in the way. People are stopping Jesus. Jesus even stops to help an old lady. I wonder how he's feeling in that moment. What is going through his mind? And then they tell him that he's too late. His daughter is dead. But Jesus tells him not to worry. She's not dead. Lots of feelings. Lots of things must have been going through Jairus' heart and his mind. I can only imagine about what he was feeling at that time. And then at the end, when Jesus brings his daughter back, how do you think everybody was feeling then? What were they thinking? What were they thinking about Jesus? Story gives us quite a lot to wonder about. So, take some time and think about that story. Wonder if you were Jairus through this story and all those things that were happening, how would it feel? What might be going through your mind? Well, thank you for listening and joining me tonight, and I will see you next time when we'll read How to Pray. Good night, everybody.